Hey everyone, it's Gwen. So if some of you guys remember, I made a video last year near the end of the summer about how I was going into my freshman year of high school. And now it's around a year later and I'm about to go into my sophomore year. That video that I made last year where I compared middle school to high school is actually my most viewed video on this channel. It just hit 3,000 views last week, which is crazy to think about, and I'm also super happy and just really excited that you guys watched that video and you guys enjoyed it. So now because of that, it got me thinking that clearly the topic of school is popular and important, and you guys seem to like it because I got a ton of thumbs up on that video and a lot of comments, which I really appreciate, so thank you to all of you if you guys commented or watched the video. So now it's a year later, and I have successfully survived my freshman year. Yes, I did it. It was not as bad as I thought it would be. So during last year's video, I talked a lot about high school and how it was a lot different from middle school. And I talked about it as if I had actually been in high school, which obviously I hadn't, right? Someone actually left a comment on that video saying, how does she know what high school's like when she's ever been in it? And they make a valid point. Everything that I said in that video was what I assumed or thought based on, what I had seen happen or what I've heard of what high school is like. So now that I've actually experienced my freshman year and gone through some of high school, I've decided to make a little freshman advice video for you all. I know that a bunch of you guys are probably going to start your freshman year this year and you have a bunch of questions or are curious about a lot of things, so I thought I'd give you guys some tips and pointers about freshman year in hopes that they will answer some of your questions that you may have. So let's get started. So first of all, freshman year, high school, so exciting. I'm sure a lot of you guys are probably either excited, nervous, terrified, all the above. So my first tip is more towards the people who are going to a new school for high school. I personally didn't. I stayed at the same school for high school, but I know that a ton of people change schools when they get to high school. So if you're going into high school and you're switching schools, I'm just here to tell you guys not to worry about it so much. Of course, it's typical to be nervous if you're going to a new school, but just think of it this way. You're a freshman, right? So everybody else in the freshman class is new to that school too. Sure, some might know more people than others, but you all are kind of in the same boat, so don't feel left out or alone because there are plenty other new kids too. Adding on to that, be the person to try and go make some friends. Be the person who starts the conversation and goes up to that one kid that you see in the corner who's probably new too. Try and start conversations and try to meet new people. As hard and as nerve-wracking as it can be, you will do it and you will get through it, and soon enough you will find some great people to be really good friends with. My second tip is about popularity. So I know that in high school, everyone always thinks that being popular is super important and you gotta have all the friends and you gotta know everybody. And I'm just here to tell you really not to worry about that kind of stuff. Really just don't, because I'm telling you firsthand, it is a waste of your time to try and worry about that kind of stuff. Now personally, I go to a smaller school, so everyone kind of knows everyone anyway, so popularity, it still exists, but it's not like really big thing. But I know in some bigger schools, you don't know everyone, and the people that do know most people are known to be more popular, right? And everybody looks up to them. And I'm just letting you guys know to really be yourself and not worry about popularity. Personally, I think it's better to have 1 or 2 or 3 really close friends than know a bunch of people, but, maybe they're not your true friends, right? Maybe you just are hanging out with them to be popular. And I don't really think that's important, and I don't think that's something that you guys should strive for. So really just try not to worry about popularity. You guys will find amazing people to be friends with, and you guys are going to meet some amazing people throughout your entire high school career, and really just don't worry about it so much. Just be you. My third tip is also a little bit about making friends, but it is centered towards the older kids or the upperclassmen. I strongly suggest that if you guys have any classes with any upperclassmen that you try to be friends with them, because they can definitely help you out, and most of them obviously have been through it already, a lot of high school, depending if they're a junior or a senior. And it's really great to have some sort of mentor or friend that is up in those classes because it's someone that you could either look up to. They're great for, if you have questions about maybe a teacher or like a class or anything about the school. And it's just really nice to know people that are older. And typically, I'm not saying all older people like this, but typically older people are more mature. And sometimes having some more mature older friends can be nice. I'm not saying that you guys have to know every upperclassman ever, and I'm not saying that don't be friends with people in your grade, obviously, but I'm just saying knowing one or two upperclassmen can really be nice, and it's good to have friends in older grades. Also, it's good to branch out of your friend group, which might only be in your grade, right? So if you only know people that are in the freshman class, it's very nice to branch out and talk to people that are older than you in different classes. Another thing about older kids, I mentioned the maturity level. Freshmen, I'm not saying all freshmen are like this, but most freshmen, at least in the beginning of the year, are pretty immature. That's just the way kids are. And if you tend to be more mature, or let's say that you're having trouble with a friend or just people in your class because, they're immature, maybe you just you can't get along with them for some reason, try talking to some of the older kids. They've been through it already, and typically most of them, like I said before, are more mature. And it's nice to have friends who are older than you because, they could be into stuff that you're into, and it's just nice. So I definitely recommend that, and they're great help, if you have a question about a teacher or a homework assignment or, maybe where our class is. It's just really great to bond over things like that and know people that are older than you. My fourth tip for freshman year is to study and take work seriously. I talked about this a lot last year when I was comparing middle school to high school about how the work counts and everything you do in terms of grades really do count towards college. And I know that even freshman year might be well, I have 3 years to get my grades up, I have time. But freshman year is on your transcript, and colleges are going to look at your freshman year. It may only be your first year of high school, but they're going to look at it and they're going to see, how well did they try? Did they try in freshman year? Did they work hard? Did they take grades seriously? So I really encourage you guys to take your work seriously and study. So I really just want to exaggerate the importance of grades and working hard and, trying to focus in class. And another thing that has to go with grades is procrastinating. A popular problem with freshmen is that during their middle school years, they didn't really work hard and they procrastinated a lot and they didn't really care about grades that much. And now that they're freshmen in high school, when grades matter, they're having trouble and they tend to procrastinate more. They don't know how to make themselves want to learn or want to study. And I understand that can be difficult if you didn't, work at all in middle school, right? So something that definitely helps for me, I'm the type of person where I really try and get things done when I need them to get done, especially when it comes to schoolwork, other things I may push aside, but at least within the past 2 years, I've really not procrastinated and I've really tried to get work done. And one of the things that's helped me with that was my mindset. Okay, so this was my mindset last year before I was going into freshman year. Right in the beginning, starting from right the beginning, this is how you kind of have to start off. If you're going into your freshman year and you're all right, I'm not going to procrastinate at all this year, I'm going to get work done. That attitude has to start in the beginning, because once you start off bad, it's very hard to get into it, right? If you start off in the beginning of the year when things aren't that tough, the classes aren't that bad, and you continue on, it is not that bad. It's less likely that you're going to fall out of that really great study habit if you start from the beginning. Okay, so the first day of freshman year, you're I'm not going to procrastinate, and that night when you get your first homework assignment, you do it as soon as you can. And I'm not saying you have to rush or you have as soon as you get home you gotta do it, but I'm just saying that you gotta pick a schedule and you have to really balance your time. And let's say this was something that for me worked. Last year I said, okay, every day when I come home from school, I'm just gonna do my homework. I'm not gonna go on my computer, I'm not gonna procrastinate at all. And I started that first night, the first night I got homework of freshman year, I was all right, get home, do the homework. And I did it. And I was very proud of myself. And then I just kept that cycle going every night. And I think that if I had, in the beginning of the year not really planned for that, I would have just probably procrastinated more in the beginning of the year, and then it would have been harder for me to change once the classes got more difficult and the year progressed. So I say really try and start in the beginning. And if you procrastinate a little bit, if you don't do your homework exactly when to get home, if you don't follow your schedule exactly, it's okay. We all make mistakes. There were certainly times when I kind of pushed my work maybe to the side and didn't do it, for an hour versus, did it right when I get home. Maybe I waited a little bit. It's all right. I'm just saying that try and stick to your schedule as much as you can and then really plan out your time, plan out what you're going to do, and then it's less likely that you're going to procrastinate, and you're also going to feel a lot better too, because if you plan your time and you schedule what homework you're going to do when, it doesn't feel like it's all, over your head all the time, and it doesn't feel like you have as much work, which is definitely a lot nicer. And if you have any sort of planner or anything, or a calendar, write down your tests, schedule your study time, and I promise you it is not that bad. The workload, once you take that time to really schedule out what you're going to do, it is not as bad as you think it's going to be. And you will get through the work because it won't feel like it's a ton when you just do a little bit every day or a little bit at a time. So that's my biggest tip on the whole studying, procrastinating work part of high school and freshman year. My next tip is to try something new. You know, maybe in middle school you were always typically doing the same sort of things, like the same sport, or, you know, maybe you were into music, so you only did that. But I feel like in high school, at least for my school, there's a lot more clubs and there's a lot more things you can join. And typically when you get into high school, you have a lot more opportunities, right? To try different classes and different aspects and, you know, different sports, all different kind of things. And so maybe there's something that has always been in the back of your mind, something they've always wanted to try, but in middle school you were like, I'm too scared, or maybe they didn't offer it yet, so you just didn't think about it that much. But maybe now that it's high school, they do offer it, or your confidence is kind of built, so you think, you know, oh, maybe I could try it. And I definitely encourage you guys to try new things if there's something that you want to do and you have the opportunity to do it. Because really, I mean, what's the worst thing that could happen? If you want to try something, just join the club or, you know, join the sports team. It could even be a class, right? So even just challenge yourself. Like, let's say it could be between, you know, an honors version of a class or a normal version, and you're kind of in between because you like the class and you think, you know, maybe I want to challenge myself and go with the honors version, and it could be a bit harder, but, you know, if it's challenging myself and if I work hard, I can do it, you know, try it. And also something with honors classes I've heard a lot about. I've heard that it looks better to colleges if you try an honors class, but you only get maybe like a B or a B plus in it, versus if you try the normal version of a class and get an A plus throughout the year, because they're going to see that you challenged yourself. So that's something else to think about, you know, with challenging yourself and honors programs and honors classes. My next tip is about relationships / dating / all of that mess. So let me be the first to say that being in a relationship is not everything, okay? And people have a hard time grasping this concept because it seems like in high school specifically, and I understand it, right? Maybe you see that there are a bunch of people, you see that your friend has a relationship and you feel left out because you don't have one, but I'm really telling you, it is not the end of the world if you are not dating someone. And it also doesn't make your world perfect if you're dating someone, right? So it's not something to really worry about. You know, this goes to popularity, dating, relationships. You don't have to worry about that stuff all the time, right? You know, it comes up, it happens, and that's great. But you don't have to constantly be thinking about it or worrying about it, because it's not important. And for school specifically, you know, that's not why you're there, right? You're there to learn, and you're there to make new friends and try new experiences, and maybe dating is part of that, right? Maybe you meet someone and you want to date, and that's fine. I'm just saying that should not be your key motive in school, you know, right? Popularity or dating or anything like that. That should not be your main worry or your main goal. You know, your main goal should be to learn things and try new things and challenge yourself, right? So I just want you guys to really think about that and, you know, just keep that in the back of your head, you know, while you're going through school, you know. Another thing that has to go with the dating and the popularity and the friends is confidence, right? If you have confidence that you are single and you're fine by yourself and you're working hard at school and everything is great, then why worry about anything else? And I know that that's a lot easier said than done. Confidence is not something that comes to everyone, you know, as easily as others. But I think that if you try to be happy and stay confident about grades and everything in yourself, it will show through. And something that I keep reading and seeing a lot on like Tumblr and, I don't know, Twitter, I guess, is that if you are not confident, try to fake confidence, right? So keep your head held high and try and act like you are confident, even if you don't feel it on the inside, and eventually your confidence will shine through and it will be real. And I really like that, because let's say that your confidence isn't that high, but you try and fake it for a while. Eventually, I really do believe that it will be real, because it's almost like you're practicing being confident, and you know, practice makes perfect. So if you continue telling yourself that you are great and you are working hard and you are proud, eventually you are really going to believe it. And I really love that, and I think that you should all try that if you are not feeling very confident about something, about school or anything. And, you know, just try and be confident, try to stay true to yourself, try to be yourself, and not worry about everybody else so much, right? So try not to worry about what other people think or anything. You know, really just focus on yourself, focus on the reason you're at school, which once again is to learn and excel and, you know, along the way, you're going to meet some great people and you're going to have great friends. Also along the way, you might meet some not so great people, right? And you got to learn how to work together and how to deal with everything like that and how to deal with drama. And then again, I think goes back to confidence, right? If you're confident that you can believe in yourself and that you know that you are great and you're proud, I think it's harder for people to take that away from you. So that's about it for my freshman advice video. I really hope this helped. If you guys have any other questions about freshmen or high school or any other advice questions for anything like that, please leave them in the comments below, and if I get enough, I will definitely make another video like this at any time. You know, I would love to do like a study tips video or anything like that. So if you guys have any suggestions or any comments or questions, please let me know down below or tweet me or anything like that, and I would be happy to answer them and happy to make another video like this. But other than that, that's about the end of this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to give this a big thumbs up if it helped you in any way. And also, once again, comment below what grade you're going into also, because I would love to know, and I would love to know how many of you are freshmen or are going to be freshmen in a few years. And hopefully if you guys are maybe middle school now and you're going to be freshmen in a few years, you can come back and watch this video and it will help you. And I hope that I helped. So that's the end, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!